The legendary Johnny Carson, who spent 30 years as the king of late-night television, left fans stunned when he privately admitted that some of the most glamorous names in Hollywood who sat across from him on The Tonight Show were, in his words, actually evil. Because although Carson's charm on screen made every guest look welcome, off camera he saw the true faces behind the glittering smiles, and what he remembered was not the elegance or fame, but the arrogance, cruelty, and ego that too many of them carried. Carson recalled how Bette Davis, despite being hailed as one of the greatest actresses of all time, often arrived with a dismissive attitude, looking down on staff and sneering at anything she felt was beneath her, an arrogance that he described as poison behind her legendary performances. With Dean Martin, the world adored his smooth voice and playful humor. But Carson grew weary of his off-camera behavior, calling him unreliable, arrogant, and often intoxicated to the point where engaging with him felt more like babysitting than interviewing, leaving Carson frustrated by the hollowness behind the charm. Rita Hayworth, a Hollywood bombshell whose beauty defined an era, also disappointed Carson because while audiences adored her, he saw in her interactions a coldness and cruelty toward staff, a woman who had grown so consumed by her own star image that she seemed to delight in making others feel small. Marlon Brando, another Hollywood giant, was perhaps the most difficult guest Carson ever faced. His genius as an actor overshadowed by his erratic, entitled, and often combative behavior, making Carson dread the nights when Brando's name appeared on the guest list, because his disdain for everyone around him turned the studio into a battlefield. And then there was Jerry Lewis, beloved by millions for his comedic genius, but known to Carson as one of the rudest and most arrogant men to ever walk onto his set. A guest who not only ignored the crew, but openly mocked those around him, leaving Carson furious that such cruelty could hide behind a clownish grin. These were not isolated incidents, but repeated patterns of behavior that revealed to Carson just how dark the world of Hollywood could be. And when he confessed that stars like Bette Davis, Dean Martin, Rita Hayworth, Marlon Brando, and Jerry Lewis were actually evil, it was not gossip, but the unfiltered truth of a man who had spent his life watching legends destroy their own image with their arrogance. His revelations shook the illusion of Hollywood's golden age, exposing that the idols millions worshipped were often nothing more than flawed, bitter, and selfish people hiding behind the veil of fame. For Carson, a man who made his living helping audiences laugh and escape reality, the realization that so many of his guests were cruel in real life weighed heavily on him, because it made his job less about joy and more about pretending. Yet in choosing to finally speak about it, he gave the public a rare glimpse of reality, proving that beneath the sparkling lights and polished smiles of old Hollywood lay some of the darkest personalities he had ever encountered.